Hello, I'm WBZ TV meteorologist Barry Burbank. Now I have your forecast for today, for the whole weekend, and into the final week of what's going to be September, as fall has started yesterday, as you know, with the autumnal equinox at 4:02 in the afternoon. And we're still talking about Jose, although Jose is pretty much a done deal now, as it's drifting slowly away, drifting southeastward away from New England. The wind has diminished quite a bit, but there's still going to be some brisk winds on the Cape for much of today, but not up to 40 and 50 miles an hour. It's going to be more like 15 to 25 miles an hour today, especially over the outer Cape and the islands. There'll be some brisk wind along the coast, the rest of the coast, but certainly nothing like it was. The big surf will continue in high danger of rip currents this weekend for sure. The high surf advisory is up by the National Weather Service until about 6 o'clock this evening. For some of the waves to be about 6 to 8 feet, maybe a few higher than that. And it looks like we'll have some swell coming up from the next hurricane also in the next few days, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And there'll probably be a danger of rip currents much of this week. But looking at the latest wave heights, running 6 to 7 feet at the buoys just east of Boston, we're looking at certainly a decrease in those wave heights from what they were yesterday. Then we were just about double that, 12 to 14 feet. So that's good news, but still not low enough to avoid getting rip current development. All caused by Jose, which has been spinning out there, but it's just a shadow of its former self. Not looking like much, but still a solid circulation, and we're still on the northwestern flank of that. But most eyes now are going to be focused on this more potent storm, of course, which is Maria, and it's about 300 or so miles to the east-northeast of Nassau in the Bahamas, and there's clearly the eye of that system, so that's going to be watched very closely. The National Hurricane Center track officially brings it up north-northwestward, then northward, and then eventually, near the end of the forecast cycle, it turns it northeast. If it came fast enough, it may get very, very close to New England, but it's going to be moving quite slowly. It's not going to pick up in forward speed in the next day or so. So it looks like it possibly, if it does anything, the cone of uncertainty may be shifted over to the left here a bit. Therefore, the Outer Banks could certainly have impacts. They're certainly going to have big waves out of this, no question about that. As we watch and look at a lot of the models that we have to base our forecasts on, you can see we call it the spaghetti chart. Most of the models bring it up closer to North Carolina like this, so it puts it in a very precarious position for us, located like that. But there's going to be a system coming in from the west which should capture this and shove it on out. And so we're basing all that on this important system coming in from the west. If it fails or it comes later, this system may get closer to us, but right now we think it's going to be A-OK. So looking at some of the wave heights involved with Maria coming up along the eastern seaboard, causing beach erosion, big waves, big breakers, and rip currents all on the eastern seaboard. Some of the surf from that, some of the swell from that will be working up into our beaches as we get deeper in the week. Well, how about the 90-degree days in Boston? We've had 12 so far this season, had none in September. It doesn't look like we're going to have any in Boston, even though it's going to be hot in much of New England the next 2 or 3 days. It's going to be really summery. It won't strike 90 in Boston because of the position of the station in Boston at Logan Airport with an onshore breeze. So we've had 12 days so far this season, and it doesn't look like we'll have any record-breaking temperatures in Boston the next couple of days. The record tomorrow is 90, set back in 1959, and on Monday it's 89, set back in 1926. Now, much of New England will have temperatures like this, but not Logan Airport. Forecast mostly 76 to 77 in the next couple of days. But Worcester Airport may have record-tying or possibly record-breaking temperatures in the middle 80s there tomorrow and Monday. Where's the heat coming from? It's coming from out west, where it's going to be 93 in Chicago and St. Louis and Point South today. All this heat is expanding to the northeast, but we've got to totally get rid of Jose before that happens. On the backside of all this heat, there's been some snow in some of the higher elevations of the Rockies. So for this afternoon, it looks like it's going to be clearing. It's going to be a slow process over southeastern Massachusetts, and it likely will never clear down on the Cape, where it's very foggy now. Where it does even clear, it's only going to be in the lower 70s. You get farther away from the ocean, it's going to go into the low 80s, and then finally into the middle 80s out in central Massachusetts, parts of Worcester County, north and west, where western and northern New England will be the hottest today. So here we have the system, the clouds eroding and shifting southeastward during the afternoon, late morning through the afternoon, so getting sunnier in Boston. But here we are in Cape Cod. It's been so absolutely miserable down there, I think just about the entire week on Cape Cod. and with dense fog down there this morning. It may thin out somewhat, but that low cloudiness will not burn off. As a matter of fact, it's just going to expand back northwestward overnight tonight and be around parts of eastern Massachusetts tomorrow morning. But the good news is it should all burn off tomorrow, so even the Cape will finally have a beautiful day, but still with a breeze, a little bit of a breeze in from the ocean will still be on the cool side, and we'll have plenty of sunshine. So for tomorrow, the Jimmy Fun Walk, which I'm very privileged and happy to be associated with, and be walking all the 26.2 miles of the Boston Marathon route for the Jimmy Fun. And temperatures will be in the upper 80s. You can check out my fundraising page. Google that. You can check that out. It's going to be pretty hot for the runners and very humid as well. At kickoff for the Pats game, be about 86 at kickoff, probably going up to 88 or 89 at Gillette Stadium tomorrow, and the humidity will be on the moderate to high side. There won't be too much ventilating breeze either, with lots of sunshine there. So here's your forecast the next 7 days. Looks like will be temperatures nudging 90 farther northwest of Boston, but along the coast it'll be cooler, and finally breaking out into some sunshine tomorrow, even on Cape Cod. And it looks like we have a pretty summery weather map here, 7-day forecast here for the final week of September. It looks like it'll turn sharply cooler by the end of the upcoming week as we get to the end of the month. You can watch WBZ News tonight at at 11 o'clock. You can also watch it at 8 o'clock on My TV 38 for the latest news and weather updates.